6 months from now, you'll look back at this exact moment, right now, you watching this video, and you'll remember it as the moment everything changed. Or you'll remember it as just another video you almost finished before clicking away. Here's the difference. Whether you're willing to sit with 10 seconds of discomfort. That's it, 10 seconds. Because the version of you 6 months from now who's free, they didn't get there through 30-day programs or 12 steps or hitting rock bottom hard enough. They got there because one random Tuesday, they learned how to breathe differently for 10 seconds. And that 10 seconds became a crack. And that crack became a door. And that door became a completely different life. So let me ask you something, and I want you to answer honestly. Which version of yourself do you want to meet 6 months from today? I know why you're here. You've been taught that overcoming cravings requires strength, willpower, and constant battle. So you fight, you resist, you white-knuckle through every urge. And when you eventually give in, because fighting is exhausting, you collapse into shame, believing you're weak. This cycle has convinced you that freedom requires superhuman discipline you simply don't have. Every addiction program, every self-help book, every well-meaning friend tells you the same thing. Stay strong, resist temptation, don't give in. And so you build walls. You grit your teeth, you go to war with yourself, and you're exhausted. Because here's what nobody tells you. The war itself is the problem. What I'm about to share with you isn't another battle strategy. It's not about becoming stronger or more disciplined. It's about something completely different. Something that Zen masters who worked with addiction, compulsion, and suffering for 1,000 years discovered. The moment you stop fighting the craving is the moment it loses power over you. I know that sounds backwards. I know it sounds dangerous even, but stay with me. Because by the end of this video, you're going to understand why willpower fails, what actually works, and how a simple 10-second practice can free you from a cycle you thought would control you forever. Let me tell you a story. There was once a young monk who came to his master drowning in shame. He had broken his vow, again. He had promised himself, promised his teacher, that he would meditate for 1 hour each dawn without his mind wandering. But every morning, within minutes, his thoughts would scatter like startled birds. They would pull him into memories, fantasies, worries, plans. And each time his mind wandered, he would catch himself and force his attention back to his breath. But the thoughts kept coming, like waves crashing against the shore, relentless and unstoppable. The young monk confessed to his master, "I am too weak. My mind is too undisciplined. I fight my thoughts, but they always win." The master listened in silence. Then he stood and led the monk to the river behind the temple. They sat together on the bank, watching the water flow. The master pointed to a leaf being carried downstream. "Do you see that leaf?" he asked. "Yes, master," the monk replied. "Is the river fighting the leaf?" The monk paused. "No, master, the river simply carries it." "And does the leaf fight the river?" "No. It flows with it." The master smiled. "Your thoughts are the leaf. Your awareness is the river. Right now, you are trying to be a dam. You are trying to stop the leaf, hold it back, fight its movement. This is why you suffer. The river doesn't stop the leaf. It sees the leaf, acknowledges it, and lets it pass. This is the practice." The monk sat there for a long time, watching leaf after leaf float by. And slowly, something inside him began to shift. He realized he had been at war with his own mind, and that war was creating the very suffering he was trying to escape. This is the lesson I want you to understand deeply, not just intellectually, but in your bones. You have been taught to fight your cravings, to resist them, to see them as enemies that must be defeated. And that approach, that mindset, is what's keeping you trapped. Let me show you why. Here's what happens in your brain the moment a craving hits. Your limbic system, the ancient survival-focused part of your brain, detects a trigger. Could be stress, boredom, loneliness, doesn't matter. The trigger arrives, and instantly your brain releases a chemical cocktail designed to make you act. Dopamine surges, your body tenses, your mind narrows, and within seconds, your conscious mind, the part of you watching this video right now, gets hijacked. This hijacking happens so fast that most people experience craving and action as one continuous event, urge and then use. No gap, no choice. It feels like one moment you're fine, and the next moment you're already halfway through the action you swore you wouldn't do again. But here's what the monks discovered, and what neuroscience now confirms: there is a gap, a tiny space between stimulus and response. Viktor Frankl, the psychiatrist who survived the Nazi concentration camps, called it the last of human freedoms. Zen masters called it Mushin, the gap of no mind. It lasts about 10 seconds. In those 10 seconds, the craving peaks. Your brain is screaming for relief. Your body is pulling you toward the door, the phone, the bottle, the escape. And this exact moment is where everything changes, because you have a choice most people don't even know exists. You can fight the craving. Most people do this. It exhausts you. You can give in to the craving. You know where this leads. Or you can do something completely different. You can witness it. Now, before I explain how witnessing works, you need to understand why fighting doesn't. Here's the cruel irony. The harder you fight a craving, the stronger it becomes. In psychology, this is called the white bear effect. If I tell you don't think about a white bear, what immediately floods your mind? The white bear. Because your brain can't process negation. When you say, "I will not crave this," your brain hears "crave this" and focuses all its attention there. The Zen masters understood this centuries before science proved it. They called it hikaeme, the principle that whatever you resist persists. Whatever you push against pushes back. Think about it. When you fight a craving, what are you doing? You're giving it all your energy, all your attention, all your mental resources. You're making it the most important thing in your universe, and your brain interprets importance as urgency. Urgency creates tension. Tension demands release. So fighting makes you think about it more. Thinking about it more makes it stronger. Making it stronger makes you fight harder. You're trapped in a loop that has no exit as long as you keep fighting. The craving isn't your enemy. Your relationship with the craving is. So what's the alternative? Most people believe there are only two options with a craving: give into it or resist it. But there's a third option, and it changes everything. You can observe it. Imagine you're standing on a beach. A wave rolls in. You have three choices: jump into the wave, that's giving in; build a wall to stop the wave, that's resisting; or stand on the shore and watch the wave rise and fall, that's witnessing. When you witness, you're not in the water. You're not fighting the ocean. You're simply present, aware, observing without attaching. This is what the monks mean by Kannō, pure awareness without judgment or action. Here's what happens neurologically when you witness instead of resist. Your prefrontal cortex, the rational, observing part of your brain, stays online. When you fight, that part shuts down and your limbic system takes over. But when you observe with curiosity, you create distance between the urge and your identity. You're not someone who has a craving and must defeat it. You're someone who notices a craving is present. The difference is everything, because in that noticing, in that small act of observation, you reclaim your power. Not the power to control the craving, but the power to choose how you respond to it. Now, let me tell you something that might sound strange at first. Every craving has a life cycle. It rises, it peaks, it falls. This process takes about 10 to 15 seconds. But here's what most people never discover. If you don't feed the craving or fight it, it peaks and then begins to naturally decline. Your brain expects one of two responses: action, that's feeding, or tension, that's fighting. When you give it neither, when you simply observe, the craving has nowhere to go. It crashes against the shore of your awareness and then recedes. Not forever. It will come back. Waves always do. But each time you practice witnessing instead of reacting, you're teaching your brain something revolutionary. This urge is not an emergency. It's just a sensation. I can feel it without acting on it. Over time, days, weeks, months, The cravings come less frequently, they're less intense, they pass more quickly. Not because you've built superhuman discipline, but because you've stopped giving them the fuel of your resistance. Think of it like this. A fire needs oxygen to burn. When you fight a craving, you're fanning the flames, you're giving it air. But when you witness, when you simply observe without feeding or fighting, you're not adding fuel, and eventually the fire dies down on its own. Here's another thing I want you to understand, and this one is important. You've been taught to hate your cravings, to see them as proof of weakness, evidence of failure, enemies to be destroyed. But cravings are not villains, they're messengers. They're your brain's clumsy attempt to protect you from pain, boredom, emptiness, fear. Your brain learned, probably years ago, that this substance, this behavior, this escape provided relief. And now, whenever discomfort arises, your brain does what it was trained to do. It craves. It's not evil, it's not weak, it's trying to help you, even though its help is hurting you. So instead of going to war with your cravings, what if you approached them with curiosity, even gratitude? Ah, there you are. I see you. You're trying to protect me from this uncomfortable feeling. Thank you for trying, but I've got this. You can rest now. This isn't weakness. This is mastery. This is the difference between a warrior who fights every battle and a sage who knows which battles not to fight at all. Now, let me give you the practice, the 10-second technique. Here's exactly what you do the next time a craving hits, and it will hit. That's okay. When the craving comes, here's step 1. Name it. Takes about 2 seconds. Out loud or in your mind, simply say, craving is here. Not I'm craving, not I need this, just craving is here. This creates separation. You are not the craving, you are the one noticing the craving. This small shift in language rewires how your brain processes the experience. Step 2, locate it. Takes another 2 seconds. Where do you feel it in your body? Your chest, your throat, your stomach, your hands? Cravings aren't just thoughts, they're physical sensations. Find where it lives in your body and put your attention there. Maybe it's a tightness in your chest. Maybe it's a pulling sensation in your gut. Maybe it's a restlessness in your limbs. Wherever it is, find it, locate it. Bring your awareness to that exact spot. Step 3, describe it. Takes about 3 seconds. What does it feel like? Hot? Tight? Buzzing? Pulling? Heavy? Use descriptive words, not judgment words, not bad or terrible, just tight, warm, restless, pulling. This is crucial because describing activates your prefrontal cortex, your rational brain, and deactivates your reactive limbic system. You're literally shifting which part of your brain is in control. Step 4, breathe into it. 3 seconds. Take 1 deep breath. Imagine you're breathing directly into the sensation in your body. You're not trying to make it go away, you're making space for it, acknowledging it, letting it be exactly what it is. Breathe in slowly, breathe out slowly. Feel your breath moving through that space where the craving lives. And then, step 5, watch it. Just observe. Notice how the intensity rises. Notice the peak. Notice, if you don't act and don't fight, how it begins to fall. This is the wave. You're standing on the shore, watching it crest and recede. The craving will feel intense. That's okay. Your mind will scream at you to act. That's normal. You might feel anxious or uncomfortable. Breathe through it. And after 10 to 15 seconds, the intensity will begin to drop. This is the proof. This is the moment you realize, I can feel this without acting on it. I can survive this discomfort. I am stronger than I thought. Now, I want to be honest with you. The first few times you try this, it will feel weird, maybe even wrong. That's because you're breaking a pattern your brain has reinforced hundreds or thousands of times. Your brain will resist. It will tell you this doesn't work. It will tell you you're wasting your time. It will tell you just this once won't hurt. That's normal. That's expected. Be patient. Be gentle with yourself. Each time you practice, you're rewiring neural pathways. You're teaching your brain a new way. And like any new skill, it takes repetition. It takes practice. It takes compassion. So let's come back to where we started. You came into this video believing that cravings were something to fight, that freedom required strength you weren't sure you had, that every time you gave in, it proved you were weak. But now you know something different. Cravings aren't enemies, they're waves. And waves don't need to be fought. They need to be witnessed, observed, allowed to rise and fall in their own time. You learned that between the urge and the action, there is a space, a 10-second space. And in that space, you have a choice that changes everything. The choice to simply see, not fight, not feed, just witness. And here's what that means. You are not broken. You were never broken. You were just fighting a battle you were never meant to win, because the battle itself was the problem. You are not weak. Witnessing takes more courage than resisting. Standing on the shore while the wave crashes takes more strength than building walls or diving in. You are not your cravings. You are the awareness that notices them, the sky that holds the clouds, the river that carries the leaf, and that changes everything. So the next time the craving comes, and it will come, I want you to remember this. I am not this urge. I am the one who sees it. I don't need to fight it. I don't need to fear it. I can breathe. I can witness. I can let it be. 10 seconds, just 10 seconds. I've got this. Say it out loud if you need to. Write it down. Tattoo it on your heart. Because that voice, the voice that can observe, that can breathe, that can choose, that voice is stronger than any craving will ever be. If this perspective helped you see things differently, do me a favor. Hit that like button. Not for the algorithm, but because it tells me this wisdom is landing, that it's helping. And if you want more teachings like this, ancient philosophy meets modern neuroscience, all in service of your freedom, subscribe to this channel. We're building something here, a community of people who are done fighting themselves and ready to find a different way. Leave a comment and tell me, where are you watching from? What's one thing that shifted for you today? I read every single comment, and your words matter. And if someone in your life is struggling, fighting their own waves, share this video, not as a fix, not as a cure, but as a reminder there's another way, a gentler way, a way that actually works. The temple bell in Kyoto is still ringing, 400 years and it hasn't stopped, but every ring eventually fades into silence. Your craving will too, 10 seconds at a time. I'll see you in the next video. Until then, breathe.